Okay, so it's 2:35 in the morning and I started playing SimCity at about 7 o'clock. So what is that, 7.5 hours? Yeah. So I'm really liking SimCity more than I expected to. It's kind of weird because your city can only be a certain size and then you just kind of run out of things to do. Your population density gets as high as it can get and then you got to move on the map. But the map itself encompasses a whole bunch of other different little cities that you can build, as well as like great works, like, you know, international airports and stuff. So it's just, I got my one city like pretty rocking, and I was like, this was probably 9 o'clock. I'm like, maybe I'll go over here and start another city before I stop. Put in a half an hour or so, or 5.5 hours. Alright, so this is my first recording on the vlog with the Sony, what is this, the CyberShot. Don't get it confused with the PowerShot, the CyberShot DSC WX300. I said that enough time in the video. You know, you got kicked in the face. Yep, you got kicked right in the face because you got below my feet. Cat doesn't learn, man. So anyway, yeah, WX300, and it hopefully is doing a better job of being able to stay in focus on me. I should hope, because the other one really didn't. So what I'm doing right now, make you really dizzy, spin around a lot. Oh, almost hit the cat in the face now with the camera. I'm actually watching TUVlog, so congratulations Jerry, aka Barnacles. He hit 100,000 subscribers on Friday, I believe it was. Might have been now, I think it was Saturday. So that's a big deal. Good job, Jerry. So I'm actually watching his vlog, his TUVlog. Sorry, Jerry, it's not really flattering there. So that said, it's also like 2 in the morning. It's a Sunday night, so I gotta go to bed. But I'm just messing around with so much stuff. All right, it is Monday morning. Oh man. So filming on the new camera, so hopefully I stay in focus a little better here. I got a new shirt on. It's a little baggy. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to really get excited about in the morning, so I guess the new shirt's what I got. Anyway, I've got my camera with me today, my SLR, because the one that we have at work is toast. A coworker of mine went out to a job site and was doing some video, actually time-lapse photography. I gave him the whole setup to do that, and he walked away from the camera when it was doing its thing, and a big wind gust came and blew the camera off of an 8-story building. Thankfully, it didn't land on anybody. It landed on the roof of another building, so he said it was really embarrassing because he had to go ask to be let up on the roof to go get the broken camera. So, value to that story, I guess lesson learned. Make sure you have a second camera with you at all times, even if it is just a little point and shoot. Because he was actually able to use his iPhone to salvage some of the stuff he had to do that day, but he wasn't really able to take all the video that he wanted to because the iPhone's battery crapped out on him, which is kind of the big problem with video on the iPhone. It does more than just video and photography. So if you're using your phone all day, you're gonna kind of put the kibosh on using it if you do more than, you know, maybe 15 or 20 minutes of hard video usage and stuff like that. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Got some flaggers up ahead, so I guess I better pay attention. Don't want to run over anybody. All right, here's a typical FedEx moment for you. I had a package that was attempted to be delivered to the office where I work on a Saturday. So delivery exception, customer not available, business closed. Yeah, that makes sense. So then it says, recommended action, customer not available. Delivery will be reattempted the next business day, which would be today, Monday the 5th. Estimated delivery, Tuesday the 6th. Pretty sure that's not next business day FedEx. And in typical Amazon fashion, they offer to extend my Prime membership yet again, which they've done a few times for me now, and when other things have screwed up the delivery, like UPS or FedEx. So I think that's pretty cool of them. What you doing? Don't give me your butt. It's warm out. Alright, so it's pretty nice outside today, actually. In the mid-70s, and it's Tuesday, so I'm just kind of relaxing, and just got home from work. Cat's all excited because I got the windows open. So anyway, I got some things to do. I got some pretty exciting news. Won't spill it yet, but I might be sharing it by the end of this vlog because I might be able to show it. Just say something's on the way. A few things. That said, a lot of really great interaction today on the channel. So I've got some questions to answer that you guys have left me. So it's pretty fun. And other than that, just got home from work, so I'm gonna relax. All right, guys, it's Wednesday, hump day, and I just got a pretty cool email. So a lot of stuff is about to get divulged here. I'm about to drop some spoilers. So here we go. Here's the email. Thank you for shopping at Newegg. Your tracking number has been generated and your package order will ship out today. Motherboard Asus Maximus 7 Hero Z97. That's right, Z97. It has shipped and it's on its way. I decided to get the latest generation of the Maximus motherboard series, the Maximus 7. Now, why did I do this? Well, I actually had a friend who is in need of a new computer, a new gaming PC, and I kind of approached him and said, hey, if I can give you a good deal on my build, my 4770K build, it made him supply his processor. I said, if you want to go out and get a Core i5 or Core i7, and you want to kind of buy the bare bones of my current build, then I'll sell it to you for a pretty good price. And then I'm going to get another case and another motherboard and all that stuff, so everything's on its way for the Z97 build. I'm pretty excited. Alright, it's Thursday, my last work day of the week, so I'm going to take tomorrow off. And I thought before I leave for the day, I didn't want to forget to show off the busted camera. So this is the camera that fell about 8 stories onto the roof of another building. So here's what happens if you drop a Canon T2i really far and it's on a tripod. By the way, totally off topic. These guys are still out here doing work. So essentially what they're doing here is redoing the curb, but they're having to put the bricks down in a certain pattern because once you've been here for 5 years, you get a brick. Some companies give you a watch, some companies give you a gift card or something. You get a brick where I work. But you also get another week of vacation. So that's pretty sweet. So here's the camera itself. And you know, at first glance, yeah, it seems okay. And then you come around over to this part right here. And there's where it just took the beating. You can see this is totally cracked. Try to set it down here. That broke off. This thing's toast. That's all busted up. I mean, this took a really long fall. And I'm really surprised it's not in worse shape, actually. Up here, the little flash mechanism kind of broke a little bit. The problem is on the front, this is actually still part of the lens, the Sigma lens. I think it was a 17-50. So yeah, the switches are still there. And you can articulate them, but here's the lens itself. So yeah, the little lens hood is broken. Now what really impressed me though about this is if you look at the lens, yes, it's busted. You can see all the little chips. But the glass did not break. It didn't even really scratch, it's just kind of dirty. So that's really impressive. That's a tough lens. That glass is still in one piece. Then the battery pack that was on the camera, the lithium-ion battery broke. Battery pack broke. This is busted. It's all warped. Let's see what else. Tripod. This is a tough tripod too. There's the replacement tripod for it. Anyway, this leg down here shot. That won't go back in, it's bent. And then this, you're not supposed to be able to take the thing out of the top of this. So here's the head of the tripod. And you can see that it bent. It's kind of screwed up there. That's not supposed to happen. And then there's just the random bits. Like this piece, I don't know what that's for. This piece, screen from the timer that we had from our old camera. So yeah. Oh, and the other thing that really impressed me, the lens filter. Not a scratch on it, still in one piece. So all of the glass actually survived the fall. So there you go, common sense. Don't drop a camera 8 stories, but I do have to say, Canon does make these things pretty resilient, because I would expect that to just explode in like 100 pieces, because it had all of the weight of the tripod working against it, because when it fell, it more than likely went like that. You know, going down like a missile, because the legs were out on the tripod. Now what happened was my coworker set it up on the edge of a building, and he didn't extend the legs all the way on the tripod, so when it got windy, he stepped away from the camera because he was doing a time lapse and it just blew off the building because of the wind. So lesson learned there. Make sure you set up your tripod properly. Keep an eye on your camera. Alright, so it's been kind of a slow week as far as things going on for the TUVlog, so I thought now would be a good time to kind of take a look at what AMD's been up to. Intel's not the only one with some news, although they're getting all the fanfare this week because they've got, well, not this week, but, well, this week and next week, who we kidding, 9 series boards and Haswell refresh chips are coming out, so, you know, all the tech forums and blogs and video sites and YouTube channels, they're all about Intel. So I thought, alright, and, you know, AMD hasn't just been sitting on their hands. They got some stuff that that hit recently, actually in April, but a lot of it's shipping now. So I thought it would be a good time to take a look at what they got going on. So what do we got here from AMD? Well, there it is. They have introduced a new APU series, basically. So they've got the Sempron and Athlon APU products with their new AM1 platform. So what is AM1? Well, scrolling down here and taking a look, essentially, it's just a really affordable option for people looking to do really basic builds. So what you've got is the, looks like the Athlon 5150 and 5350 and the Sempron 2650 and 3850 APUs. Now, what is the standard for these? Well, it says here that they will deliver quad-core solutions, which one of the Semprons I think is only dual-core, it says below, to consumers, and it will include 2 SATA 6 gigabit ports, which is nice, 2 USB 3 ports, 8 USB 2 ports, and PCIe 2.0 lanes. Now, I believe those are limited to by 4, though. And if you scroll down here, you can kind of see the 4 that they have available and the price points. So $60 to $35, but you will see here this lowest end one. That one's only a dual core at 1.45 gigahertz. Now, another thing to take note of, look at the TDP in these things. Incredibly low, 25 watts. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, what do they have going on here? All right, so they're kind of, I think they're taking aim at, you know, a lot of people are building home theater PCs, Plex servers, media servers, NAS boxes, things like that, and they're looking for chips that people can kind of utilize for things like that. And these boards are going to be exclusively ITX and micro ATX. And the reason for that being is you're not going to use these in any kind of like a gaming rig or anything like that. But that space, those little computers are getting so popular, and you're seeing them everywhere now. People are doing these builds all over the place that they've come out with something that actually Newegg has a bundle for $94. You can get the motherboard, the case, and the chip. Because I know people are just experimenting around and building these really cheap builds. So let's take a look at what's out there. Here's Newegg, because you know they show on here that you'll be able to get these through Amazon, NCIX, Newegg, and Tiger Direct. So looking at Newegg, here's your price points, anywhere from $39.99 to $64.99. Now I will say, you look at this one right here and it says start your kit for only $99. So let's just click on that so I can get that kit to come up for you here. Here's what you get in that kit. So you get the Cooler Master Elite 130, the 3850. These are all Kabini-based processor cores at 1.3 gigahertz. And then the, looks like here, the ASRock AM1BITX. So essentially you're getting this really low-end processor here with this kit. Now my only concern with that is I believe that is at least the quad-core version of that chip. So it's not a bad option, but from the reviews I've been reading on this chip, people aren't real excited about it because it's apparently stuttering in HD video and it just can't really keep up. So I would say if you're going to go this route, I mean, while this kit is a pretty good deal because they're knocking off $36, I mean, you're getting all this for only $94. I think this chip just kind of comes in a little short here. You can do a lot better than that. So if you're going to do one of these builds, I would suggest, you know, $40, $65. Step it up, pay the extra $25, and go with the full quad-core 2 gigahertz Athlon variant of this chipset, or CPU, APU, sorry. But yeah, if you look over here, these are based on the Radeon cores, so you got the Radeon graphics technology in there. And looking at the boards, so here's your Asus board coming in at $50, and I think they said in their little press release here that the boards are kind of hoping to shoot for around $40. Paying a little bit of a premium because it's the Asus. The ASRock, this is kind of the standard flagship board for this release, and you know it's coming in right at that $40 price point, and getting decent reviews. Asus is getting good reviews as well. So there's your new socket. There's your AM1, and then here's all of your different connections. So there's your, they call it the trio of graphics connections. So you've got the DVI,
HDMI, and of course the old D sub still on there. You got your PS2 ports, so backwards compatibility is there with this board. But you'll note right here, look at the PCI Express lane. It is only a 4x4, and if you look over here on the ASRock, they do have what looks like X16, but you scroll down here, it's running in by 4 mode. So putting upgraded graphics in here, yeah. These are clearly not gaming-oriented boards in any way whatsoever. Even doing something like a Steam box on this kind of build, I think is going to be a little tricky. You know, you're going to need to step up. There's a reason that there's the ITX boards that will take the full Intel 8 series chips. You know, the Z87 and now soon Z97 boards that have the full by 16 slots, so you can put in, you know, a full-blown graphics processor, a nice GPU in there, as long as you cool whatever case you go with well. But you're also not going to pick one of those up. I mean, $94, or even if you go this route, I mean, you're still looking at under $200 if you go with, I'm getting clicky. If you go with the $65 chip, so you're at that, and so you throw in this board at $40, so now you're at $105, and pick up another $50 ITX case, you're at $150, and you're going to get yourself a quad-core 2 gigahertz chip running at a very, very low 25 watts. So there's something to be said for that. If this is going to be, you know, like I said, a Plex server, something that's going to be on all the time, these are really good options. You jump over here. All right, so here you go. Here's the 9590. This is kind of the representing the extreme for AMD here. So AMD's kind of been up to, you know, a little bit of a weird arrangement. They've got their FX line that it seems like they've just kind of given up on. They haven't done anything with it in a while, and that's running, I mean, this thing runs at 220 watts. So they're over here in that extreme, and then over here on their new APUs, they're at 25 watts. I mean, this 9590 draws almost 10 times as much power. So I don't know that AMD really has a clear direction at the moment. I mean, clearly the APUs is what they're focusing on now. But it kind of makes people wonder, do they really even care to compete with Intel anymore on the higher end processor chips? I mean, Intel's just kind of spanking everybody right now, especially with what they got coming on down the pipeline, which is a shame because I've always been a big fan of the AMD chips, and in particular the FX series when it came out was really nice, especially for the price. It still is a viable option for the price. So jumping back over here, I mean, you know, here's your two boards that you're probably going to look at going with if you're going to go with an ITX. And that being said, so you got all this APU news going on. Well, you know, your Intel options are like something like a Pentium, the G series Pentium, and I believe you can get one of those. All right, so here we are in the 1150 series Intel chips. So let's do lowest price first. And you can see here, you can jump in with Intel for $49.99. So they're in the same space as these AMD APUs right now with their offerings here. I mean, you're going anywhere from $50 to here, right here. This is $65. I mean, granted, these are dual-core chips, but you'll notice they are clocked higher. That Intel integrated graphics on those is absolutely terrible, so I wouldn't really consider these a real APU, but my hopes for what kind of Radeon technology is in those AM1 chips, I'm not really feeling too confident on that either. But if you're looking to do a cheap build, especially like a home theater PC or Plex server or something like that, these are very viable options. To see if the TDP is on these anywhere as far as the specifications are concerned. Here's the kicker though. If you go with the Intel, it's a dual core instead of a quad core, and you're at 54 watts instead of 25. So it's really where AMD is coming out ahead, as they're releasing these chips that sip on power. I mean, the reason you can do one of those builds for under $200 is the fact that you can get pretty much the lowest wattage power supply in the world and put it in there, and you're going to be okay because you're not going to be able to run a high-end graphics card, and you're drawing almost no power at all whatsoever from those chips. All right, jumping over to the Intel side here, this is the big week for the Z-Series chipset, Z97. That is happening, and it is happening on Sunday, May 11th. So this week now at this point, these are going to be available. You can order any of these boards right now. And as a matter of fact, I believe Newegg is like the Gigabyte supplier or Gigabyte launch partner for Z97 on their side, so you can get all their boards. But yeah, here's are all the different boards you can get, and these are all Z97 and H97. So if you're going to be going with the chip that you're not going to overclock, you can save a little bit of money and go H97. Otherwise, go Z97. If you're going to be going with any of the new chips that are coming out, I believe they've got the, I got it up here, the 4690 is going to be your i5 variant of the new chips to come out alongside these 9 series boards. And then the 4790 is going to be the successor to the 4770. But again, these are not K variants, so you're not going to be overclocking these chips really. So if you're going to get one of these and you're not looking to add a Devil's Canyon or a Broadwell K-series chip down the road, you can go with the H97. But here's everything, and you know, let's sort this by price and see what the lowest price on one of these boards is coming at. It's going to be an H97 board. So yeah, ASRock, you can get in on these starting with, let's see, this is probably looking like Micro ATX for $81.99. And then they go up from there. But here's the Maximus 7 Hero. It's ready to ship, ready to go. Look at this. Somebody really didn't like it right here. Will not post. Okay. That's an interesting comment because this board shouldn't be in anyone's hands yet. So this board is available now. All of them are. You can do a pre-order on them and they will ship out. So there you go. There's all the different news going on there. But I wanted to show AMD some love because they did come out with some new stuff. And I may actually check out some of those chips. I may try out that Athlon, the $65 Athlon, that chip that they have available, because I need to do a build for my grandma, actually. And I can do something for her that's going to be really cheap. The most expensive part of the build is actually going to be Windows. And, you know, that kind of gets me on to another rant. Microsoft really needs to figure out some kind of price point for a really low price copy of Windows for people that are going to be using it for, like, you know, I would think they should really have like a Media Center version of Windows, although they've kind of abandoned Media Center, which is a shame because if you're using a cable card TV tuner like I am with my HD Home Run Prime, nothing else out there will actually allow you to stream protected content from a cable card except for Windows Media Center. And right now it's a very expensive way to get into doing that because you have to buy Windows 8 Pro and then you have to buy Media Center on top of that. You would think they'd come out with something that you could put in like a home theater PC build, a Media Center build, and have a lower cost version of Windows. But, you know, who am I to say? Microsoft's making their own rules. I know they are coming out with a free version of Windows for tablets and phones. So there's like a size and a screen restriction for how they're going to do that. But if they had a low cost option for people doing really low end builds, that would be nice as well. I mean, come on. Get with the program, Microsoft. Apple's given out their operating systems if you have their hardware. I believe, what was it? Mavericks was free. It was a free upgrade. So there it is. The AMD Sempron and Athlon series. Those chips have been out for a really long time. It's good to see the name continues on with the AM1 platform. So I think I might get my hands on one of those and do like a sub $200 build. Kind of maybe show you guys that before I have to hand it over to my grandma to use for her email checking and Microsoft Word processing. Got a nice little rainstorm happening here. It was hailing a minute ago. Got this thing in my face. I love a good rainstorm, especially one in the spring. Breeze has hit me in the face. Smells like rain, smells so fresh. Really coming down. It's kind of one of those weird rains where it's sunny and yet at the same time it's raining. It's not sunny, but it's awfully light outside to be raining this hard. What do we have here? Well, alright, here it is. These are all of the components for my upcoming NAS build, my FreeNAS build. So these things, everything here has kind of been around for a while, and there's going to be some part reusing going on here, which is my favorite way to save money. So for the case, I'm going to be using the Fractal Node 304 Mini ITX computer case. And there is my nice, cheap ASRock H61MV ITX 555X fast motherboard. And look, it's Windows 8 ready. I don't even know why they put that in boxes anymore, but... And here's the i3 that used to be in my home theater PC back in the day, and I'm going to be putting it to use again. Nice low voltage processor. And here is some Ripjaw memory. Now this is the memory, if you watched my home theater PC cooling upgrade video, you probably recognize it. This had to be pulled from the home theater PC build because it was too tall to fit around that Zalman cooler. So 8 gigabytes there of PC, I think that's 1600 megahertz. A couple of fans just in case I need them. I'm not sure if I will or not. And then these are the hard drives that have been sitting on my counter for a long time. Each one of these is 2 terabyte Western Digital Reds. So there's 3 of those there for a total of 6 terabytes. And then this is where things kind of get delayed. This is the power supply I considered using. This was pulled from my dad's old Core i7 920 that old build, and I cleaned it up, pulled it out, and everything looks good on it. Still runs just fine. The problem is it's not modular, and man alive, did it have a lot of connections in it. I mean, it just goes on for days. So, all that said, gonna throw all that together. The power supply should be here Sunday. And once that gets here, then we can get going with the build, but there's just no way. Plus, that 650 watt power supply is way overkill to begin with. So it's kind of uneasy about using it just for that, but 430 watts more in line with where I should be, since I'm not gonna have a dedicated GPU of any kind. I'm just gonna be going off of the Core i3, and you know, everything else is gonna be really low power draw. So not a big deal to have just 430 watts. And I have way less cables getting in the way, and I don't have to spend the money for modular. I actually kind of forgot about this. This is a really nice i3 processor, actually. This is the one that had the Intel HD 4000 graphics in it, which was nice. This was the higher end of the i3s and the 3 series processors, the Ivy Bridge, the i3 3225. So it's a little bit overkill, actually, on the graphics front for what this is going into, just being a NAS build. But yeah, this was a nice processor to hang on to. I have a fond spot in my heart for the Core i3, actually. This beautiful sunset seems like a good way to close out this week's TUVlog. So thanks for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button, and be sure to check back soon.